I'm the scat man. I'm the scat man.
Welcome to Covers His Puck Props, a 14-year NHL vet and juice pumper. Absolutely clobbering the Montreal card. I know we don't throw everything out there, but you hit the shutout. You unloaded on Lane Hudson across multiple markets. Lane Hudson to Patrick Laine looks like a good combo.
I'm feeling the vibes this morning, buddy. I got the disco lights going. I got the happy face on because I'm doing the Trump dance, if that's what you call it. Because it was a good one last night, and we were all over the Lane Hudson power play point, but the Montembeault shutout was a last-minute thing for me because as I was doing the game yesterday, right before game time, it was revealed that Ryan O'Reilly was not going to play. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Ryan O'Reilly's not going to play. This is a team that struggles to score. Montembeault's coming off a really good game. Let me see what the shutout is. And I hit it at plus 1450. Oh,
1450 is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
I would tell you, I'm like, hey,
winners?
There's always another angle to like hit all the other player point totals under. Like if you're going to play the shutout game, always like see if you can get a better price by hitting all the guys' points under. Sometimes you can. But 1450, you're not getting to 1450. 1450 is about as big as it gets.
I know, and that's why I looked at it, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just look to see what the shutout prop is, because this is a game that could potentially have one. With the way Montembeault's playing and the struggles that Nashville's having scoring goals, and with now the Ryan O'Reilly news, like that had to have been deflating for the team, and in which it was. So I looked at it, and I saw plus 1450. I'm like, I'm all over this. Hell yeah.
You did.
So it was a great night last night.
Love it. Teacher Carlo, in 10 words or less, explain what is icing.
Oh, geez.
Think about it. I don't want a word salad here.
Yeah. Well, icing is basically, I don't really know how to describe it in 10 words or less. Go ahead. You try to describe it.
Puck shoot before center line. That's it. Goes to the other end.
Here, I'll look up what is icing.
No, but that's it. That puck, you shoot the puck in before the center line.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's it. And then
icing is an infraction that occurs when a player shoots the puck before their own end of the red line all the way down the ice. So basically, what it is, they're trying to eliminate like a cop out move where you're trying to, relieve pressure or, give yourself more time to change or whatever it is. So if you make a pass down the ice and it goes untouched and it's before your side of the red line, it's icing, and then the face-off ends up back in your end.
Puck shoot to other end before center ice line. Ding. Rags are sitting Trouba apparently. Yes, we'll get to the Trouba news. I know. Icing does go on cake. Yes, icing does. And I've never done it. Those piping bags, they just look like you know what you're doing. If you're using any type of a piping bag and you're a man, I don't even think we'd make fun of you. Like that's just a big time move. You know what I mean? Those little piping bags that people use for decorating. That shows you what you're doing with icing. Wide Johnson 2 points. Wow, plus 380. It's playing on that top line in Dallas. Dallas needs to score though. They're playing Vegas. Vegas has given up 1 goal in the last 2 games after getting the doors blown off them. Let's get to it. Big card. Seattle, New Jersey. It's tough to find value in New Jersey, but they've been off since Monday, and their power play, red hot. 7 for 11 in its last 3 games. That's dangerous. Versus Seattle, played yesterday. And let's be honest, I think this is the last game of the road trip, but 2 wins over Carolina and the Islanders last night. They're playing good hockey. You know what I mean? Pat yourself on the back. Take the L tonight. Big beatdown in New Jersey. Let's go. Nosen and Nico Hischier here for a stack at plus 150. It's the tough one. They're on PP1. They're line 2. It's usually Bratton Hughes who stuffed the box score.
Right.
And you're like 5 goals, and you're like, where did these guys show up? But hopefully the power play comes through. Nothing crazy on the analysis there. Seattle, like I said, played yesterday.
Okay, so let's look at some power play props. I'm just trying to open it up right now. Is there any value on New Jersey power play players? Timo Meier plus 425.
Timo Meier, second power play.
How about Stefan Noesen plus 300 on the first?
That's who we have. That's who we have in the stack, though.
Yeah, but power play points plus 300 on its own.
He's probably more. He's not getting a lot of 5-on-5 points. I've noticed that.
Right.
300 is about as good as you're going to get on that top power play line. And I think we get a Grubauer start. I believe it was Joey Decord last night, who's actually been playing very well. So you might get an old Philly Grubauer who's not very good over his last 10 games. Yet Brat's on fire. So just trying to hopefully get something on the power play on that side. Brewski seen Peterson 2 points plus 272. It's so funny. Vancouver splits at home. They haven't had to play a lot of home games, but it's pretty funky. We'll get to it though. Washington, Toronto minus 140 on the money line, over under sitting at 6. Let's go to 2 things we like. We're going to go for a nice point, minus 120. If you live in the area, and talk to your host, your co-host today, Matty Cause. He's just trying to stir up the pot and his talking point was like, I don't think they should play together. I don't think Matthews and Marner need to play together. You could tell that was his angle about talking, like trying to give something up. It doesn't matter, right? If they play together, if they don't, then you still have Nylander, Tavares on the second line.
Right.
It's not a big deal. What the deal is, Nyes will play his shifts with Matthews. That's the safest thing, right?
Right.
And that between the legs, little backhand, no look sauce pass, like that, the beginning of the third period Wednesday night was about as sexy as a 5-minute stretch of hockey as you'll see from the league.
It was.
Right?
It was. Yeah, it absolutely was. Especially when we were on the under in the Nashville team total, and you just knew that Nashville couldn't get that next goal, because if they got that next goal, it would make the empty netter come into play. Right. And when Toronto got the 3 goals quickly, you're like, okay, Toronto's playing with a lead right now. There's a good chance this team total under is going to stay under.
And let's not, I don't know, beat a dead horse here, but that goal was absolutely garbage. The Marchessault off the rim,
terrible.
loses it. That's like a once in a take every game in the month, and you might get one of those goals.
Yeah.
Trash.
Wow. It ruined the stack for us because we had the under stack.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
That goes to Marchessault. Yeah.
At home, Toronto 12-3 straight up, 1.93 goals against average since Halloween. These are everything we pointed out Wednesday when we were on Nashville team total under. Now we're getting a better price here. Washington team that's out without Ovi, obviously. 9-1 straight up with a 1.4 goals against average. Toronto, 14 goals allowed in their last 10 home games. 8 have been at even strength. Toronto opponents at home, 8-2 to the under team total 2.5 since Halloween, and 11-4 to the under on the season.
So Washington if we're following the path, it should be a Stolar start tonight, correct?
I know, and we don't. The beauty of this is you don't have to worry about it because you have 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I was going to say at this point it doesn't matter with them, right?
I like Stolar's better, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'll take it. But like Washington's 4-3 without Ovi, but 4 goals scored in the 3 losses. Their offense has looked bad sometimes. They've moved things around. Secondary scoring is not great with Pierre-Luc Dubois leading the second line, really. Caps 9-2 away. It's kind of different with the lineup they have. Nice point plus Marner assist plus 160. Not bad. I'm waiting to see the skate. If Marner's playing on that top line, yes, absolutely take that 100%. I'll just wait and see what they do in the skate, and they'll probably do the same thing. It will probably be Nylander and Matthews on that top line, and then if things are bad, then Chief gets to push the red button and put Marner and Matthews together. No?
Yeah, absolutely. That's always left with that's their nuclear option when they need to go nuclear.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, all right, let's just put these 2 together. We need a goal.
All right, now let's get to one where we certainly need to you chime in on this. It's absolutely embarrassing what's happening with the Rangers.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. They're 1-6 straight up in their last 7. Their only win, 4-3 win versus Montreal, coming off maybe what I thought might be a Laviolette firing game. No, 5-1 loss to New Jersey on Monday. The Rangers have been outscored 26-11 over those 7 games. And the Rangers won 6-0 versus Pittsburgh back in October. Pittsburgh, all of a sudden, on a heater, bud. On an absolute heater.
I know, it's crazy. It's absolutely
Florida,
crazy.
Calgary, Boston, Vancouver, and Trouba. What did we say? They're sitting him, or he's waived?
They're sitting him. That's the first thing. I'm just trying to read some of the report. They have a couple teams interested in making a trade, but he has to waive his no trade clause to go to these teams. Apparently, Columbus is one of those teams that has a trade in the works for him, but not sure that he's on his list of teams to go to. So he's definitely not playing, but if there's no trade agreed on, he's potentially going to hit the waiver wire at 2 p.m. today because they're going to put him on waivers, which means a team could claim him for nothing if they really want to absorb all of his contract in the deal. And if a team that wants to trade for Trouba sees him on waivers, you got to think they want the player regardless of what his salary is, and that's comes at a cost of nothing. You don't have to give up anything to get him. So I don't see why a team wouldn't do that.
Let's get it out there. We're going to go Pittsburgh on the money line at plus 160 in the spot. Why not? What's that do in the locker room, right?
Oh, my God. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's led to Jacob Trouba being the scapegoat of the Rangers' failures this year. This goes back to the summertime when the rumor was that they were trying to move him to create a shakeup, but nothing happened. He started the season. The Rangers started off well. What puzzles me is the lack of disrespect that this guy is getting for being the captain of the team. This is ruthless. This is a management team that is treating the captain of this team, the captain of the leadership group in New York, as a minor league player. It's like, hey, we can't trade you because you don't want to get traded to any teams. We're going to put you on waivers and embarrass you in the public. And I'm like, how do you do that to somebody who you call your captain?
Shockwaves through an already divided locker room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't imagine this is going over well in the locker room.
So plus 160, not a bad spot. Silent night in the room. Rich H. There you go.
Yeah.
Man of many words, tying the holidays together with what's happening within that New York locker room. Crosby, 2 goals plus 1,100. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure Crosby gets up for games at MSG. No, right?
Yeah, but
I don't look too much into that situation anyway, but I think
Shesterkin's on the other end, regardless of how you feel. The Rangers
well, you don't know, right? Like
I
if
know,
Shesterkin's
I
in,
know.
I like this more. Quick's the better goalie right now, but he's not as good as he once was recently, and he's kind of falling off. Igor saves over. Yeah, Pittsburgh Adams brings up a good point. Pittsburgh is a very sneaky overshot team. Remember when we were on the Boston undershot train? They're still holding everybody under shots. Guess who's the only team to get 30 plus on them? Pittsburgh. Igor has been terrible. So I think there's something there. I think I was actually surprised to see this total at 6.5. I was hoping to get the 6 because the Pittsburgh team total over 3.5 is pretty expensive. But I like the money line better in this spot. So let's get some of that. The stack on that top line, Rust, Raquel, Crosby, and I think you can get Rust and Raquel for a decent price, just those two if you can't get the 1.5. This is a leave alone kind of game. No, this is a fade a Rangers team that's already been kicked in the nuts.
In shambles.
Absolutely. Just when you think things can't get worse in New York. See ya, Captain. That's a tough beat. I don't know. Something's going to change. Laviolette's job's on the line, and I don't know. A loss here could be the end of it. Is there anything safer or anything, less safe than a coaching job in the NHL. Like
No.
where's a management situation in Chicago? That is an absolute dog shit roster. Dog shit.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Luke's playing with nothing over there, and you're like, sorry, Luke, you're gone.
Yeah.
Can't even get Bedsy on the Four Nations team, and all of a sudden,
Right.
shit's
Well,
back.
look, I mean, and this is what bothers me about the NHL and their philosophy around making changes is the salary cap has literally created a graveyard for coaches, because you've got general managers that are responsible for putting the roster together in the offseason. And so they hand these coaches a bunch of players and they just say, well, this is what I'm giving you, go work with it. And there's no accountability of the managers, because the managers, because of the mistakes that they've made in the roster constructions, can't go out and make any trades because the cap doesn't allow people to make trades within the season.
But
so
they handcuff themselves. That's
the
on
easy
themselves
way out
too.
is, hey, sorry, man, I've got to make you pay for my mistakes. I got to let you go, because teams believe if you make a coaching change, like we've seen so far in this season with St. Louis, who looks like they've turned their season around, but St. Louis was a different situation. Like St. Louis was a team that had a coach in there that was sort of a stopgap type of coach, and they saw Montgomery, a player familiar to them, available, and they're like, we got to jump on this. And it's had, a huge effect on them, because they've won 4 games since they've named Montgomery. But they're also a different team. They're a different team that has a better roster.
Yeah.
So I hate this whole theory, this whole notion about teams that can't make changes to their roster because the cap doesn't allow them to do, and they think, oh, the next easy decision is just fire the coach. It's a horrible cycle that the NHL has gotten into.
Agreed. And maybe ownership should start getting rid of general managers. Maybe a lot of the issues with general managers, but obviously that's messy. Yeah, I know. Like, you just can't be out there firing guys, but
general managers don't fire themselves, right? So
I don't know. But in that point to St. Louis, like St. Louis had a chance to upgrade their roster, like their entire team, and they did. Monty was on the free agent
I've been
list.
saying it for 2 years. Chicago has known for 2 years they were going to draft Connor Bedard. Even the year they drafted him, they did nothing in the offseason to bring it. Well, they brought in Taylor Hall. They expected to get the MVP version of Taylor Hall to play with Connor Bedard. Have they not watched him play the last couple of years? He's been nowhere close.
Big pickups in Puebo, Teravainen, and Bertuzzi.
And it's like you have a chance to develop an elite talent. Bring someone at the same level of elite talent to play with him. And they've done a horrible job supporting him with talent. And this is what you get out of it.
Yeah. If your team falls apart because Seth Jones isn't skating anymore, then your team's dog shit. All right. Enough crapping on those guys. We move on. Pittsburgh money line. We're off. Let's go. We're going Vegas money line. Me out here not really throwing around a lot of props. Wanted Dallas team total under 2.5 plus 155. That was another look. Talked about it. Decided on Vegas. Vegas allowed 1 goal over 2 games since that big loss at home, 6-0 to Utah, which was the worst loss on home ice. Dallas, since losing Tyler Seguin, hasn't scored more than 2 goals in 2 games, 4 goals total, with 2 of those goals coming on the power play. So the 5-on-5 play, now that the lines are mixed up, not so great. Dallas's team total under 2.5 is hitting in 50% of their last 10 games, and it's the last game on that Dallas road trip. I guess you call it the West Coast road trip. And it's the first game. You talked to me about this. First game since the first round of the playoffs last year where Dallas came back down 2-0, knocked off Vegas. 7 games. Probably get an Aiden Hill start. And he has a 1.7 goals against in his last 7 and 2 or fewer in 6 of his last 7. A team like Vegas, who lost in Game 7 after getting up 2-0 in the series. What kind of atmosphere do you bring to that? Like there's a slight motivating factor, no?
For Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for the motivating factor for Aiden Hill himself is the fact that, all this talk coming into the season, will he be on Canada's team? Will he not be on Canada's team? And since the announcement of him being on Canada's team, and you can say the same thing about Montembeau, they've hit another level of play with their game. I don't know why my camera is all of a sudden
All them
zooming.
fancy lights you got going on in the back.
Yeah, it's getting all hypnotized.
Yeah.
I think for Vegas, this is a great opportunity for them to, sort of, or even for Dallas too. Like Dallas suffered a big blow the other day, losing Sagan for the rest of the season. And now they've got guys like Stankoven and Wyatt Johnson. They're going to provide a bigger opportunity for them. But wow, this blurriness is really bothering me. So go ahead and take over while I try to fix this.
Blurriness, it shouldn't be affecting your analysis. It's all right. Oh, look at now we cut him out.
No. I'm trying to restart it.
I know. Always going to restart it. Look at that. Hey, cut him out of there. We don't need to see his behind the scene moves there, producer Mick. Oh, just me. I don't even have anything on the screen. But no, Aiden Hill, like it. Even Samsonov, who hasn't been playing great, had that one goal against in the previous game. So Aiden Hill coming off that shutout versus Edmonton, who blew the doors off Columbus. Love it. Let's go. Vegas money line. If you want a Dallas team total under 2.5, good. If there's a stack you like, stack the Robertson, Hintz, Johnson line under point each. That's a big one if you can go that side. Goals in Vancouver, who hasn't played a lot of home games. Columbus played last night, 6-3 loss. Edmonton, they keep rolling. We're going. That game over 6 minus 120. I love overs. I haven't been able to play some. And then Fantilli and Sillinger. Second line, second PP guys, plus 375 stack. Don't tell me the stacks are gone. If I'm getting plus 375, I'm taking it. Vancouver coming back from the East Coast road trip, Carlo, 4-2, but 3 straight overtime games. And despite winning, they've allowed 3+ goals in 5 of those 6 games. I don't really love the splits here because they've been on the road. We talked about Kevin Lankinen's road splits. Vancouver at home, 3-8 straight up, 30th in point percentage with the worst goals against average in hockey at 4.
Yikes.
Yeah, and combined, these two teams, 30-17-2 to the over. Talk to me about coming back from the East Coast to the West Coast in Vancouver, and can you make any sense of those odd splits in terms of road and home games for Vancouver?
No, I honestly can. It's bizarre. It's bizarre that they're a way better road team than they are a home team. But look, the travel is the same. No matter which way you put it, you're living on different time changes. Your body clock's off, and you're coming home and you're trying to, create an adjustment to your daily life and to the mood that you're in. And so there's an energy level that comes with it. But as we saw with Ottawa yesterday, who we built the argument for returning from their long Western road trip, took them a while to get going in that game. It was a 1-1 game right up until the end, and they still started to find their legs, and they found a way to get a win late in that game. So it creates an excuse for teams to get off to a slow start or to have a bad game. But, ultimately it doesn't matter. Coming home from West, coming home from East, anytime you're on the road a long time and you've changed, different area codes, your body clock's off a little bit. So there's an adjustment period that needs to happen.
Just looking, someone said Demko believes he's at a point in his recovery where he can serve as a backup goalie over the next 3 games. So I don't think we have to worry about him starting, but he might be coming in sometime. It is interesting.
Demko news? Crazy.
Rich H says 3-5-3 at home. Yes, 3-8 straight up. That's what that means. Anaheim defenseman narrative, Spurgeon shots on goal, maybe even mini ladder. I got nothing for the late game. Let's see. Quinn Hughes power. I was looking at that. It's so funny. You just posted. I was looking at that because the Columbus power play is obviously junk. And we talked about it yesterday. You brought it up, Adam, with the McDavid plus 125. I think if you're touching any prop in Vancouver, I mean, the DeBrusk Pedersen stack, I think is like minus 110. You're not getting much value on it, but the best value I think in that game is Quinn Hughes plus 125 for the power play point. And as producer Mick says, don't be a bunch of freeloaders. Hit that like button. All of you. And if you haven't done it yet,
freeloaders, hit that like button. Come on.
Shame on you. But a Friday slate, I kind of like today's slate, right? It's kind of been like I was worried. Wednesday, unders. Yesterday was actually mix mash games. today. I don't mind a few goals here. So let's do a quick recap and get on our way on a Friday with lots more coming before you bet at noon. Blitz 2:15. Lots more coming. Ooh, I gotta put a 220-1 touchdown parlay together this morning. That is an absolute banger. Any interest in that?
Which one?
Oh, I've tweaked his interest.
Yeah, of course, man. I love when you tweak my interest like that. By the way, the 20-1 parlay that you put out yesterday with
Wasn't
the
bad.
Amon Ra, it was
Yeah.
close. It was close.
I know. I'm looking at it. I think I should have gone. No. I know the Amon St. Brown was the one that just
Should have gone Christian Watson.
I can never guess right which receiver's going off for Green Bay. It's impossible. Smash that juice button. I said, all right. Drew Lock for a touchdown. You're like, oh yeah, he's not a good quarterback. Yeah, he's playing for his job again. Ran for 57 yards last game. Guess what he was? Plus 700 for a touchdown. That was a big number for a guy who scored a touchdown last week, and he gets to face the Saints. Same game. This is not my originator. Miller coming off I think he's open for the practice window. Running back. Taysom Hill's gone. Miller, touchdown.
Keandre Miller.
Keandre Miller. I didn't say his first name because I always confuse it with the Rangers defenseman.
Oh, Keandre. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's why. I always say the wrong one. He's plus 500. And then finally, the big juice pumper, Brock Purdy for another touchdown. The guy has 3 touchdowns over his last 5 games, not including the Buffalo game. So
like rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, rushing touchdown. He's been rushing.
Wow.
He's plus 500 as well. Put those 3 together. Boom. You got a plus 220.
Boom. Yes,
there you go.
I like it.
I know.
I like it. Anybody in the chat got a nice little
a big
nice
banger
little,
today?
big
I don't know.
banger
Like
for us?
if you're going through it, like you can put the line, you can put the big lines together, right? Put Bratt and Hughes together. Put Marner, Matthews together if they're together. Put Crosby and Russ together if you got it. Eichel, I don't think he has a line mate that's playing power play 1. Pedersen and DeBrusque, and then McDavid and Hyman with Hyman back. If you can put those together, that wouldn't be a bad square favorite play. But let's wrap it up. Friday in the books. Bunch of plays down there. Got to see what's happening in Toronto. Let's get some goals. Josh Ingles, he's Carlo Colaiacovo. This is NHL Puck Props presented by Sports Interaction on Covers. Friday. Enjoy it. Let's go.
We've been hot. We've been raking. And that's going to continue through the weekend. Let's go, baby.
Motivator.